You've picked the destination. Your bags are packed. You have your road all mapped out. Now, the journey begins. That first stretch of road is exhilarating, nerve-wracking, and unforgettable. Yet, even on the less chosen path, it's not one you travel alone.
When the vocation first hits you, you don't know that this is an experience that specific people around the world are going through. You just think it's a freak thing. It is only when you come to seminary and the first week we are listening to stories and I'm like, oh, that's happened to me, that's happened to me, that's happened to me, that's happened to me. And their stories are different and yours is different. But you're like, this is really a call. This is not something you just make up.
Our journeys may come from different points, but we have similar obstacles.
I left my bag outside the chapel and sat over there praying. And those moments were very assuring.
I knew that I'm spending the next 8 years with these guys. Some were very inspiring, some made me question that how did he land here? And I'm sure like when they looked at me, they said that how did this fellow land here?
What people think about the seminary is completely different, and when you actually enter the seminary and experience the seminary, it's something very beautiful.
I honestly came to the seminary thinking that it would have a monastic kind of life, very silent, very prayerful. But the first day of the seminary, as I entered the refectory, I saw the amount of noise and the amount of fun that the brothers were having, and I thought to myself, yes, this is a place I can survive for 8 years.
We experience joy, we experience a community life, we experience spirituality, we experience recreation.
It does take a little time to adjust, to adapt, but that was fine. It was part and parcel of life, and having the support of your batchmates and the encouragement of the spiritual rector and the formators made a big difference.
That meeting with my batchmate was always special and something that I still cherish.
Seminary life is not boring as it may sound. In fact, it is so interesting that you will never even, or you will wonder how these 8 years of formation pass off so soon.
It's a long, long way to your destination. Prep is necessary. You need to make sure your vehicle, your faith, is strong enough to endure the journey that is life. What precautions do you take? How well do you need to know the road?
I had a very experienced batch of brothers with me, many of who were involved in the youth in their parishes or the charismatic renewal, or had done some scriptural course. And for me to come with a clean slate, with no experience at all of the church, I think that was one thing that made me think that I was inferior in comparison to them.
All you have to do to be a seminarian, at least for the Bombay Diocese, is you have to be a graduate. You need not have any understanding of God. In fact, I think they'd prefer you have no understanding of God, because then they can form you well. The first 2-3 years of our seminary life go in unknowing what we know.
I think coming to the seminary, learning philosophy first, and then being able to question scripture in theology helped me a lot. So I say, I do not think that you require any previous knowledge.
There's nothing like being extremely spiritual that only those people are called.
A holy Joe would be someone who probably prays a lot, who spends a lot of time in the prayer room, who probably move around with Bible and rosary in hand, but I was nothing of this kind.
Ensuring that you make it means being prepared for the tough stretches, for the uphills and downhills, the jams and the empty roads alike. What fuels you? When you are faced with nothing but a seemingly unending road, what carries you through?
I can honestly tell you, as I lift up the host and the chalice to consecrate it, it lines up with a crucifix that is situated above the altar. And that very moment is something that gives me a lot of strength to go on with my day.
I ride the bike, before I starting I say the sign of cross, I pray. That is where we required help. Every moment we required help, and we required grace of God, we required hand of God. Without God we cannot do anything. So this jacket, the knee pads and everything, these are the things will support you, will protect you.
2 गोष्टी फार महत्त्वाच्या मी जाणल्या. पहिली गोष्ट म्हणजे प्रार्थना आपल्या जीवनाचा केंद्रबिंदू असला पाहिजे, की जेणेकरून त्या प्रार्थनेद्वारे, त्या रोजरीद्वारे, त्या बायबल वाचनाद्वारे आपल्याला शक्ती मिळू शकते. कुठलंही आव्हान आलं, कुठलेही प्रश्न आले, ते सोडण्यासाठी आपल्याबरोबर परमेश्वर आहे, त्याचा पवित्र आत्मा आपल्यावर पाठवत असतो याची मला जाणीव झाली.
Prayers help me to grow in my relationship with Christ. At the same time, being human, there are times that I have given in to sin, to temptation, or have backslided. But prayer has helped me to come back on track. So that is something that has been the greatest support system. Prayers help me to get back in my relationship with Christ. The second thing is having good mentors, especially a good spiritual director.
The Eucharist. I've always heard in seminary it told that brothers, every year of priesthood the mass will start getting boring because it's mechanical, and I'm so geared up not for that not to happen. And 1.5 years later, I'm still so happy to celebrate mass, even on difficult days, even when I have to celebrate 2 or 3 masses. I'm almost fully present for the entire mass mentally. I don't shift focus.
Adjusting to the rhythm of the road takes tolerance and time. Eventually, you learn to ride with the flow and appreciate the journey. God lights the way for us. Who will you light the way for?